The Battle for Public Media, NPR versus CPB, a tale of political pressure and diverging interests. The fight for the future of public media is heating up, and it's a battle of giants. The once united front of NPR and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB, is now a story of legal battles and controversial decisions. But what's at stake here? And how did we get to this point? NPR, the renowned public radio network, and CPB, the nonprofit organization tasked with distributing federal funds to public media, are at odds. The rift began when Congress cut off federal funding for public media earlier this year, leaving CPB in a precarious position. In a surprising turn of events, CPB's longtime CEO, Patricia Harrison, was questioned under oath by NPR's legal team, with a public hearing scheduled to continue the interrogation. But here's where it gets controversial. NPR alleges that CPB, after initially approving a lucrative multi-year contract for NPR to manage a satellite distribution system for public radio stations, suddenly withdrew the contract just days after President Trump's public criticism of NPR. This, NPR claims, is a clear case of CPB succumbing to political pressure and the president's whims. CPB, however, denies this accusation, stating that the contract was awarded to another group to better serve the diverse needs of public radio stations. The two organizations, along with PBS, have historically been the pillars of public media, advocating for funding and standing united against threats. Yet behind closed doors, CPB and PBS officials hinted at their willingness to cut ties with NPR, which has been a target of Republican criticism for alleged liberal bias. And this is the part most people miss. As the drama unfolded, a White House budget official, Catherine Sullivan, met with CPB executives and expressed her intense dislike for NPR. This revelation, according to NPR's legal documents, set the stage for what followed. Days later, CPB's board decided to rewrite the contract terms, ensuring NPR could not be involved. As the situation escalated, CPB executives privately linked their decision to the political climate, but struggled to find a way to publicly justify withdrawing the contract from NPR. Deborah Sanchez, CPB's chief of staff, wrote to a Republican consultant revealing their dilemma. Despite their efforts, when Trump and Congress cut public media subsidies, CPB's fate was sealed, leading to mass layoffs and an expected shutdown in January. The legal battle continues, with NPR and CPB fighting over control of the satellite system, valued at tens of millions of dollars. CPB argues that NPR's assumption of perpetual control over the satellite is unfounded, and that, without federal subsidies, NPR's interests may differ from local public media stations. They claim the decision to award the contract to another group is to safeguard the station's long-term interests. The new contract, worth $57 million over 5 years, has been granted to a consortium of public media organizations, excluding NPR. As the lawsuit progresses, Harrison has warned that CPB will reveal critical assessments of NPR's leadership, management, and resistance to innovation. NPR, however, sees this as a clear case of political pressure. They argue that CPB and the Trump administration, as co-defendants, are complicit in an executive overreach. This saga began with Trump's executive order to end federal funding for public media, which NPR and several public radio stations are challenging in court. Interestingly, CPB had previously sued Trump over his attempts to remove their board members. As the story unfolds, one question remains. Is this a case of political interference in the media, or a necessary realignment of public media's priorities? The controversy continues, and the fate of these institutions hangs in the balance. What do you think? Are these organizations victims of political pressure, or is there more to the story? Share your thoughts in the comments below.